Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Morning.
You got the track jacket on. You look like you coach the Gold Star men's basketball team.
Look at me going all corporate.
Which is a college basketball team, if it existed, that I'd actually care about watching. I'd actually watch the Chili School if it was a thing. If Andy Ruther was out there calling plays for Chili U, I might tune into a college basketball game.
Coming in hot for college basketball.
Yeah.
The Joe Prano to Aaron Fox combo coming in hot.
Yeah. It made me so happy when I saw that. So many people. I imagine that your weekend was just getting tagged, and Ken Griffey Jr. is the third highest paid red. Sorry.
Yeah, it was.
And my weekend was just getting tagged in De'Aaron Fox, telling reporters everything I've ever felt about college basketball.
Well, people get really upset over like someone taking a stance. And for the record, like, you can like what you like. I don't really care. I don't know why it would bother anybody.
Totally. And that's I guess the thing. The argument that's always really weird for me is like, college basketball is better. Like,
yeah, that's a bad argument.
It's not better. Drew Timme isn't dominating college basketball and not going to play in the NBA because college basketball is better. That's not how that works. It's a better quality game. Yeah, Drew Timme's going to go sell fucking used cars outside of Spokane next year because the NBA is just such worse quality basketball.
He'll be on a team next year.
He'll be, I mean, that's, first of all, that's questionable.
Is it?
And second of all, he'll be on a team. Maybe.
I think he plays a couple years in the NBA.
And by plays, you mean
is on
watches?
A roster.
Yeah. Like Jameis Winston's technically playing in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
But he's not playing.
Yeah, look, there's a reason Timme has stayed that long. Nobody's staying that long.
Hates money, I assume, is the reason.
Maybe I'll ask. Shaboring.
Yeah. They call travels. People always say, no, the NBA, they never call traveling. They're going to call those travels, buddy. They're going to call those.
Well, you sent me a video, and I don't have, because I'm not going to do like a full breakdown of someone else's video, but it was pretty interesting.
Oh, and I saw 10. That was only like the Twitter version I could find of it for you. I saw it across, like, I don't know what it was. And I dare say it was the Joe Schiavellis of the world that are like, is it something specific to Gonzaga fans that they complain about the refs all the time? But I think people were sick and tired of hearing that. And they were like, Drew Timme travels on every single play, which turns out is true. I don't watch enough college basketball to realize that. And then I watched it. I was like, oh, he kind of does.
So the one you sent me is by this brand, or I don't know who they are. It's at B-Ball Breakdown. And they do pretty in-depth analysis. It's pretty good, to be honest. Anyway, it's 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's from the UCLA Sweet 16 game. And it says, everyone raves about Drew Timme's footwork, but it's time to expose what's really happening down low. Snitching, if you will, since he's gaining a huge advantage. Basically, he travels. Now, look, the argument can be made. NBA can be very loose on traveling. Let's be honest.
Yeah, on Euro steps and 1, 2, 3 and picking up the ball, but not on having a phantom pivot foot.
Well, see, that's the problem. If you watch these videos on Timme, if you're like a basketball fan, you should watch them. especially you joked about me wearing my Gold Star tracksuit. It's like those are the type of things where if I'm coaching, I'm like, whoa, you can't change your pivot foot. He changes his pivot foot all the time. Like that's his go-to quote unquote move. If you watch this video, he's changing his pivot foot. They could literally call travel almost every time he gets the ball. I don't know why they don't. They took a beat down. For the record, an absolute beat down.
I was at a restaurant in San Luis Obispo. I did Sneaky Pete's comedy show up there this past weekend. Shout out to the folks who came out to that. I was in a restaurant. Pete Sestaro was watching the game over my shoulder. I had my back to the game, and he just kept saying, Gonzaga's getting blown out. I watched, I don't know, 8 seconds of college basketball this weekend. Shout out to my boy Jim Larinaga, back in the Final Four since I was on his George Mason run with him.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Other than that, I got nothing.
Well, I have a lot. So I didn't watch. I wasn't watching every second of every game, but I think there's a lot of discussion to be made, and I'm going to play the De'Aaron Fox comments because it all breaks down what you like. If you want like clean, crisp basketball, this isn't for you. Now, if you want like tightly contested games that come down to the end, almost all these games do. A lot of them did, I should say. Obviously not the UConn Gonzaga game or like the Xavier Texas game. There were some blowouts. But if you want like a Creighton San Diego State low scoring, it's going to come down to the end, but not clean basketball, then this is for you. So
I love the one thing about college basketball that you don't have in the NBA. And I love that people, the criticism of the NBA is also like, no one cares and they whatever. It's like the end of college basketball games are coaches determining which guy isn't mentally tough enough to hit the front end of a 1-on-1. Like that's the number one coaching strategy in college basketball. Well, is this guy going to totally melt if I put him on the line for a 1-on-1 with the game on the line? And then they do it for a minute and a half.
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. Let me just play De'Aaron Fox's comments real quick.
Yeah,
because
sure.
that's actually a great segue into the foul call in the Creighton San Diego State game and the final play, Florida Atlantic Kansas State game. Because what De'Aaron Fox said,
to be fair to plays, I don't think we should call that a final play. That seems unfair to plays. The final moments.
The irony is De'Aaron Fox said this before all this happened. I think people need to understand that. He literally said the refs are bad, the coaching's bad, the players aren't as good. He said this before the Sweet 16 started, and everything he said basically came to fruition. So this is what he said when just, randomly asked by a reporter about everything.
Watch March Madness at all?
Let me get it up here. So this is De'Aaron Fox comments about watching March Madness.
Watch March Madness at all?
I kind of flip through college games. I can't watch a full college game.
Really?
No, I can't.
Is it that bad?
It's hard. Okay. It's hard. Just the shot making is not at, obviously, the pro level. The refs are bad. A lot of coaching is really bad. I can't stand it.
Okay. Completely honest. I appreciate that. Right?
Completely honest. And here's something about the argument for college basketball, because, I've seen people online. It's like, De'Aaron Fox played college basketball. It's like, dude, the majority of guys who go on to have successful NBA careers are gone like De'Aaron Fox after a year, after 2 years, with not really like that's. If there is a beauty about the competition in college basketball, it's that there's a level playing field between teams that have guys learn to play the game for 4 years and all play together and will never sniff the NBA because they're not good enough, versus super talented athletes who are 18 or 19 that don't really know how to play the game that are just like these great recruiters, and they all throw them together and they try to win on talent. And it's like, it's a cool dichotomy, but it's not really like, it's almost like two different sports that come together in this tournament. And you either have these great recruiters or great coaches. The great coaches don't tend to be great recruiters, and then those guys who are just like in college basketball and win a lot forever, the Mike Krzyzewski's of the world. It's like a good coach and a good recruiter. Is that why we go to a Final Four every year for the last fucking 30 years? So, but the bottom line is De'Aaron Fox. I don't know what De'Aaron Fox's college stats were like.
What's funny you say that? Did you see what happened on Twitter?
No, but the thing is, I don't know because I didn't watch him. But also, he played 1 year of fucking college basketball.
So somebody quote tweeted this video. And they wrote, "I'm sorry, I can't resist. Fox shot 24% from the three-point line at UK. Scouts overlooked that and saw the star he is today. We must allow young players to grow at their own pace, and current pros be careful to not dump on the same system that afforded them the chance to play in the NBA." So Aaron Fox responded to that, and he had a great response. Proves my point, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
He's saying, like, dude, I shot 24%. Proves my point. Also, I'm not
but De'Aaron Fox is only they don't look at De'Aaron Fox not being able to make shots in college. They look at his speed, his size, his ability, his upside. That's all the things. And they take you to the NBA. And De'Aaron Fox didn't become a star in the NBA until fucking this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
It takes time. The bottom line is they're like the guys who are successful, like a Drew Timme, are playing a type of game that does not translate. You're not athletic enough. You're not good enough. You don't have the shot-making ability. You're not going to be a star. Listen, if Drew Timme is an all-star in the NBA, I will cut off my fucking right pinky. I'll cut off my right fucking pinky if he's an all-star in the NBA. Write it down. This is no bet. This isn't a fucking whatever. And by the way, not some bullshit fucking Joe Schiavelli and a bunch of people fucking voted him. Like, if the dude's a legit all-star in the NBA, I'll cut off my fucking right pinky. He's not going to be. He's not going to be. He's not good enough. This is the bottom line. You can dominate the college basketball game, but you can't. And the bottom line is also, it's just not good basketball. De'Aaron Fox is right. It's not good. You can like college football because of the atmosphere. You can like March Madness because you filled out a bracket. You can like anybody can win. But you can't sit here and argue it's good basketball. It's not. It's atrocious. All these guys played college basketball. Cool. They all played peewee basketball too. I'm not spending my weekends watching 8-year-olds play because the quality sucks. There wasn't even a play. So I was arguing with somebody online about college basketball, and they were like, "Dude, J.R. Smith lost a finals game because he didn't know the fucking score." I go, that's how every college basketball. You're literally arguing the one moment in the NBA that was the most boneheaded play in NBA history is how every college basketball game ends. And this is your argument for college basketball?
Yeah, when that play happened in the Florida Atlantic, Kansas State game, this is literally exactly, and I tweeted that out from Dirty Sports, what you're talking about. You have 6.9 seconds. So you have 7 seconds. You're down 3. You got to get a shot off. It's going to be tough. You got to go the full court, right? College rules. Ball doesn't advance. This play is one of the worst plays I've ever seen.
It's again unfair to plays.
So he's dribbling up. He passes to somebody. Dude gets double teamed. Actually, the dude gets the ball poked away. Game over. Like, let's watch this again. So right now, let me pause it.
So now, like, Andy, I didn't watch. That's not coming off of like a basket, right? Did they have a timeout? Did they call a timeout?
It's coming off a made free throw.
A made free throw.
They have no timeouts.
Okay. Right. So they have no timeouts, but they had an opportunity, they had a pause in the game for something.
Yeah.
The coach can't like. It's insane to me. The coach is just standing there on the sideline. So after they make the free throw, you take the ball out. Fucking figure it out. Do whatever you want.
So this is their stud point guard. He's really good. He's one of the players I really liked. What is his name? Marquise Powell He's actually from Brooklyn. His brother was at he, I think, set the record for most assists in a tournament game. He was lighting it up. I think this guy might actually, he kind of reminds me of a Jalen Brunson type player where you're like, wow, he's small, but he has legit moves. I think he could be, I could be wrong. I think he's an NBA guy. But like right now, I pause it. You have 5.9 seconds. There's 3 guys on the defense that are like, where's the spacing? Why is there nobody on the other end of the court to where you can get the ball down quicker? This is just a terrible dribbles up. Dude, you're now at 3 seconds. You just crossed half court. You got nothing.
No one's inside the 3-point line.
No one. Well, they needed 3.
But no one's in the corner.
Yeah. There's just no play here. I mean, and that pass is just, you're in dead man zone. Now you're at 1.4 seconds. Game's
and you've
over.
given the guy a ball going away from the hoop at the fucking hash mark.
And the game's over. And you don't even get a shot off. I mean, it's embarrassing. And that's exactly what De'Aaron Fox was talking about. And then he's talking about the refs. And I don't know what you're going to say about the Creighton thing, but to me, it's such a ticky-tack foul. I wouldn't make this call at a tie game, at the end.
Andy, I don't think I can express to you enough how I don't watch. I don't even know what you're talking about.
This was called a foul because it was left hand. It was a tie game. They call this foul with 1.2 seconds. I just don't think you can make this call. I mean, you're about to see it in slow-mo. This was the foul.
And it goes in, and then he shoots a free throw for the win?
No, it doesn't go in. He has 2 free throws on this.
Got it.
Now, the announcer's saying, Jim Spinarkle is like, well, I think it affects his shot. I'll play with the announcer saying. I just think you have a tie ball game. I just don't see them making this call. It's not,
I mean, my thing across sports is, I don't think you can be of the moment and say, I would call this normally, but I won't call it now. I just think that's a bad place to be in for the rules. We have I've said this about the NFL. We have enough problems with refs these days with how fast the game moves and how quickly we have instant replay and all that stuff that I don't think we need to add to their plate. But
dude, if you have a tie game and it's gone back and forth, I'll just play with what the announcer said. He's saying he doesn't mind it, but I just don't know if I agree. I just think
can you go back and just play the thing? I haven't really.
Yeah.
It's been a little pixelated because I think of the way it's moving slow. I'd love to see what.
Okay. I'm just going to play. They're going to show 3 different angles and I'll play it with the announcer.
Might be on the hip. Let's take a level look. See that left hand on the hip? I'm a big believer, Ian, in that if the offensive guy makes a play at the end of a game and he's fouled, you have to call it. Now, some people are saying this may not be much of a foul. But does it affect the offensive guy's motion to the basket and getting a shot off? And you're pushed a little bit, it throws your timing off.
I
think it's foul.
You think that's a foul?
I think that's a foul. Also, there's got to be some. I mean, with these rules and the end of the way the Super Bowl ended and stuff like that, there's got to be a little bit of play defense, but make a guy make a play. Don't bail them out. To me, I know everybody criticizes the NBA for their flopping, but it didn't seem to me like that guy flopped after it. It seemed like he was legitimately moved off. He ended up on the floor after feeling contact. I think it's a foul, but I can't state enough how much I don't give a shit.
Well, I think context in all these plays, I do think context matters. I know you might say if it's a foul, it's a foul. Context matters, but in my opinion, I just think
you get into a situation where you go, San Diego State loses that game, and now you do the ref thing. It's I think what we need is accountability from referees across sports. I would like to see referees have to answer for their calls more often. And then I would like that situation to be he fouled him. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to sit here and say, I didn't make that call, even though I knew it was a foul because it was for the game at the end? Because I'd rather hear a ref say, I call fouls when they see them, and when they blow a call, say, I blew it. I missed that call.
Good luck.
I of course, good luck. But I think that that's the way to make referees across sports. It's like making a call that should be made the whole game. You can justify that. Hey, I don't take the moment into consideration. I call fouls when I see them, or I don't. You can sit there and justify that. And then you can also justify, like, hey, sometimes you miss it. I can't get every call right. I missed a call. What I would never want to hear is, yes, I saw a foul call, but I didn't call it because it seemed like not quite enough of a foul considering the stage that was set. We're in the Elite Eight. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, that to me gets, obviously we're far from having refs be accountable for their calls, but that's what I'd like to see.
I just think for me personally, it's such a close ticky-tacky call. I don't care what level of basketball. I wouldn't make that call. I just wouldn't call it. Like, if that was high school, college, pros, I don't really care. I just think that's such a minor, the hand on the hip. That's my opinion. And obviously it stinks to end a game that way. And
yeah, and I think that also it opens up that conversation. That's such a bad place to be. It's like, you know, we've seen this throughout the years. I mean, famously, Michael Jordan's retiring shot against the Jazz is an offensive foul, right? And it's like, then we get into a thing. It's like, oh, well, I saw a foul, but it wasn't a foul because of who did it or what the moment is or whatever. It's like, listen, rules are rules. But again, Andy, I didn't fucking that's the first time I've seen that.
Speaking of Jordan, something hit me when we were talking about Timme. He's the perfect player Jordan would draft.
Yeah.
Like, Jordan seriously has a history that he Morrison, Tyler Hansborough. Didn't he draft like, maybe he didn't draft Hansborough. I could be wrong on that. But he's drafted these guys where you're like, wait, that doesn't translate, man, to the professional level.
I think the thing with Jordan and his pick is, like, he got hammered for the Kwame Brown thing. And then it was like, oh, fuck upside. I'm just going to take guys who did it. And then it's like, you got to remember, dude, Michael Jordan himself, like, he hit that big shot for North Carolina. He wasn't most outstanding player of that tournament team. James Worthy was. He wasn't the most outstanding player. Like, he didn't win another championship after that. Like, you go on, Michael Jordan was, like, the fact that Michael Jordan wasn't picked one, obviously Hakeem was a no-brainer, but, like, him going two, he didn't go two, and it's like Jordan should have been drafted on his upside. Jordan should have been two on his upside, let alone what he was able to accomplish, you know?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, it is crazy though to see as I scroll through. No, it was Cody Zeller. I was thinking Tyler Hansborough. Dude, you've missed on some guys where you're just like, bro, I mean, it's atrocious. Cody Zeller, Frank Kaminsky, like, some of these guys, you're like, dude, you're taking these guys in the top 5, top 10?
Did you watch Barkley on 60 Minutes last night?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it. He basically talks about the Jordan beef, which is just him saying, like, Michael Jordan doesn't talk to him because he said Jordan doesn't have anybody around him to tell him no, and that's why he's running the Hornets into the ground. And Jordan just stopped talking to him.
I guess
forever.
I forgot, because those guys were like buddies. They were good, like best friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
And then they were like, would you be friends? He's like, Michael's got my number. And he's like, why don't you call him? And he's like, I have an ego too. Why do I have to call him? He's like, I just talked honestly about my friend. Why do I have to call him? Because he's Michael Jordan.
What a sensitive man. All because he said you need somebody to tell you no, which, for the record, I think
that's why his nickname is La Bitch. Oh, wait, fuck. Sorry, that's the other guy.
Everybody needs that. right? I think everybody needs that in life. Everybody needs someone to be like, no, or to call you out when you're doing something wrong.
I only listened to a few minutes of it. I was on my way back from Slow yesterday, but I only listened to a few minutes of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on the Bill Simmons podcast. They're there promoting the latest Michael Jordan propaganda movie. And they made a great point, which is like, dude, it's hard not to constantly be surrounded by people when you get super famous that just say everything you say is funny, your shit don't stink, everything. And it's like, because then you just go, oh, is this the best movie of all time? And they're like, yeah, it is, it's so good. And then Ben Affleck's like, then you put out Geely and you can't work for fucking 5 years.
Well,
no one will tell you that it sucks.
You know what the answer to that is, at least with someone like you or me, having brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I could win a Nobel Peace Prize and my brothers would bust my balls, or an Oscar or whatever.
Yeah.
Become a billionaire.
I could see you winning a Nobel Peace Prize and your brother Brad being like, oh, you're a pacifist now? You fucking bitch. Fucking Peace Prize? You fucking
Except
bitch.
he'd use some other choice words.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't going to drop it.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's what I'm saying. That's what you need. You need someone to just keep you in line.
And that's basically all Charles Barkley said is Michael didn't have that. You got the 60 Minutes interview is really good, actually.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to keep talking college basketball, but I want to.
I mean, keep going, dude. I
want to bring up Connecticut's success because
sure.
I feel like it's never talked about. We always talk about Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina. But I saw this tweet from Bomani Jones. And again, even me, like, I don't think about it till you see it in front of you. And his tweet was this, or Saturday night after they just crushed Gonzaga to make another Final Four. In the last 25 seasons, so quarter of a century, UConn has gone to 6 Final Fours with 3 different coaches, the most underrated, inexplicably great program of that stretch. And a fact that I'll add to it, which he didn't mention in the tweet, they're 4-1 in those Final Fours. Now this will be their 6th. Like, they're not just going, they're winning. And the argument is, how is UConn, again, with 3 different coaches, they've bounced around Big East, then they went to like the American Athletic Conference. Now they're back in the Big East. Like, how do they get good players, both college and pro? Because we've seen how many guys are good in the NBA. This is your kind of neck of the woods where you are from. I hear things that Storrs, Connecticut is a shithole. How do they consistently get these guys and make great teams?
Listen, Storrs, Connecticut, I mean, shithole might be aggressive, but it's not.
Okay.
It's not Connecticut. Like, it's not, when you think of Connecticut, and honestly, a lot of Connecticut isn't what people think of when they think of Connecticut. You know, you think of Connecticut, you're like old colonial houses and Greenwich and money and whatever. And most of Connecticut's not like that. But Storrs is like in the middle of fucking nowhere in Connecticut. It's like coastal Connecticut's really nice. And then you got Hartford, which is a shithole, and Bridgeport and New Haven and all that stuff that's over there in the middle. I would say Storrs is half hour east of Hartford, which is not saying something. Again, that's not nice, but it's just like nothing. It's just like Nowheresville. It's just complete rural Connecticut. Like, there ain't shit there. And what's fascinating about UConn is you can go back. It's basically like, I don't know, it's Jim Calhoun, and then you build this reputation. And then I got to say, honestly, also, I think part of it is the women's game too, with Auriemma. It just became a place where basketball meant something. And you did have, you had those tri-state area kids, and they were pulling from those kids that could have gone to a St. John's or could have gone to a Seton Hall or could have gone to whatever. And they actually had a good program. So they ended up landing a bunch of those guys. And I mean, it's just recruiting. It's like when you go to a place like that and you see on the wall Ray Allen and you see, Rudy Gay played how many years in the NBA, and you see these guys that they put into the pros.
Rip Hamilton,
and that's what I hate to retread what we've already talked about, but the best players in college basketball, far and away the best players, the best talents, don't give a fuck. They give a fuck about going to the NBA. That's why they're going where they're going. How do I go to the NBA? It's a totally different situation than college football, where, when you go on a recruiting visit and they're like, hey, man, you're going to be the starting quarterback at Texas. That means something. No one gives a shit. Oh, you're going to come here to UConn and start. I don't give a fuck, dude. I just want to go to the Garden for a Big East tournament game and play in front of the world, play in the world's most famous arena, as it's called, and have scouts see me. And the NBA draft used to be exclusively in New York. And it's all about going to the NBA. People can talk about college basketball all they want, but the Ray Allens, the Rip Hamiltons, the Rudy Gays, the Mecca Okafors, those guys that go there, they're going to go to the NBA. That's their goal. And so I think what it is building on that reputation. They have your reputation of being a good basketball school, and they haven't let it die. And they went with, was it Kevin Ollie who coached in between the two of them?
Yeah.
And then you have obviously Hurley, who went to Seton Hall.
Yeah.
He's a Jersey kid. And, they go and they get him. He's a upstart coaching guy. And it's like, dude, what you have to do as a coach here is just keep it going. You don't have to rebuild a program. You don't have to build a program up from nothing. You have to get your recruits to come, tell them about Ray Allen, tell them about Rip Hamilton, tell them about all these people, show them all the trophies, show them all the Final Four, show them the women's game, show them how much basketball means here, show them how close they are to New York, show them how close they are to ESPN. You could throw a rock and hit ESPN from there.
Yeah, and I mean, even this team, I know you don't watch it. This team's got three good, they got some good potential NBA guys, and it's and they're just mowing through teams. They're the Vegas favorite right now.
I mean, even Kemba Walker.
Yeah. I mean, they've put out.
He's an NBA All-Star.
Yeah, they've put out a lot of good guys in the NBA.
And where was he from? New York.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy.
It's honestly it's the reason that St. John's went and got Pitino. Is come here, recruit the New York metropolitan area, tell them about Chris Mullin, tell them about Mark Jackson, tell them about Madison Square Garden. It's literally why they went and got Rick Pitino.
Yeah, don't go to UConn.
Yeah. You're going to go to fucking stores? You're going to take the Metro North down to this city for fucking 2 hours? First, you got to get over to the fucking New Haven line.
Yeah.
We're in Queens, dude. You on the subway. I'll put you in an Uber. Rick Pitino's like, take my car.
I know.
My hooker will drive you.
Oh man. Yeah, it's just nuts. They're gonna, I'd be shocked because of how this played out, if they don't win it all. And obviously there's not a single seed higher than them. We've never had this. We've never had a tournament where no number ones made it to the Elite Eight, where the Final Four is 2 5s, a 4, and a 9 seed. And let's see, that's why people like it. They like that you have the highest seed is a 4.
Totally.
But there is a difference between, you can like that the quote unquote madness, but you can also say, hey, this might not be the best quality basketball. But for some reason, people don't want to do that. They don't want to differentiate, hey, this isn't the best basketball, but I do like that there's upset after upset. I've learned college fans.
Can we agree on something totally, which I think is it never goes talked about? if you take out bracket pools, college basketball's fucking like no one gives a shit.
Now, what do you mean when you say no one?
Like, I mean, no one. I mean, like college basketball would be like March Madness
Is college basketball.
Is college basketball. March Madness is the upsets, is the buzzer beaters, is the whatever. But when you watch those opening rounds, that to me, and we talked about it, I think we talked about it a little bit last episode, but like which weekend is the best weekend? To me, and I'm not a college basketball guy at all, to me, the best weekend is the first weekend.
Agreed.
So many games, so many ups. So you just, every time a game ends, you turn on another game and there's 5 minutes left in the game. Like you don't even have to watch the shitty parts of the game. You're just going from one buzzer beater to the end, 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 you know? So to me, that's the best part. But even that, as a guy who doesn't like college basketball, it's all about your bracket. It's all about gambling. Without gambling, the Super Bowl is still a huge event, even though it's the number one gambling day of the year. Without gambling, whether that be guys going to Vegas for opening weekend or just filling out your office bracket pool, think about how many people, women or non-sports fans, watch college basketball because they filled out their fucking Toyota dealership company bracket.
I couldn't agree more. It is crazy if you think about it.
No one gives a fuck about, like, when I say no one, I'm saying like they might not air it on TV if it weren't for brackets.
It is crazy. Some of my earliest college basketball memories are getting into Xavier because my dad used to take me to games at the old Cincinnati Gardens, but also that kind of tags along that. My earliest memories are literally filling out brackets that my dad, we could enter at his work. You know, I'm 9, 10 years old. Like that was integrated in my family. Hey, if you give dad $5, you'll fill out his bracket. You can fill out a bracket. It was like $5, but that was a big deal. If you remove brackets, you really don't have anything for college basketball. I'm trying to think the comparison of any other sports. You use the Super Bowl. It is amazing. The NCAA needs gambling. That's the irony of this whole thing, whether it's legal or illegal. And it's been illegal most of the time, right? They say how many billions of dollars of brackets are filled out a year through office polls, through whatever it is. Like if they went back to the old system.
Listen, it's fun.
Sure.
There's nothing, no one's like, even as a guy who hates college, like I fill out a bracket every year and I give money away. I don't know shit about college basketball.
Because it's fun.
Who cares?
But no, Joe, I'm gonna propose this thought. If they went back to the old system before they expanded, I forget which year it was, like early 80s, I think. If they went back to the automatic qualifier system where there was 32 teams, it would not be nearly as fun. You had to win your conference tournaments. Who's watching this? I mean, this is a legitimate question. Like, who's watching if it's the 32 teams that have to win their conference tournament? Who's watching that?
Well,
you could make the argument.
Where's Miami is where now? Like, what conference is Miami in? I don't even fucking know.
ACC.
Okay. So the finals, we have ACC, Big East. Who else is in? Florida Atlantic's in God knows what.
They're in Conference USA. The last Conference USA team was Memphis,
right,
at the time with Derrick Rose. And the first time ever, Mountain West had never made a Final Four with San Diego State. Yeah. And UConn didn't win their conference tournament.
Right.
I don't know about the other ones. But again, there's that weird argument if you went back to the old way. And I agree. Opening weekend is the best. Like
if
this
you went back to the old way, the current odds-on favorite isn't even in the tournament.
Correct. Which then could make the argument, and then we can wrap this up. You could feasibly make this argument. The regular season doesn't really matter.
Oh, I mean, listen.
No, but you can make the argument that it matters enough just to get in. Right? Like, here's the thing. People always like to go down this kind of discussion, but you never hear it with college basketball.
You never hear it with college basketball.
You never hear. I'm gonna
That's
make
the
this.
thing with college football. First of all,
college football is different.
College football. We just talked about the interest level. Again, imagine just college football had a 16-game tournament and you just you just had brackets. Just have a bracket. You can have a bracket.
Yeah.
I imagine the level of interest that goes up just by being like, "Hey, Susie, you want to get in our college football bracket?" She's like, "I don't really know about college basketball. Should I just pick up my mascots?" Yeah, do that. So imagine the interest level goes up, but then everybody goes, "Oh, then it tears apart the regular season. Then the regular season means nothing." Well, the regular season already means nothing in college football since the top 2 SEC teams play for the championship every year anyway. So let's leave that out. But and even if it doesn't happen at the final game, it happens right. The championship game is whenever the last 2 SEC teams play, whether it be in the SEC championship game, whether it be in the first round of the fucking playoff, whatever it is, the 2 SEC championship teams play, and that we determine our winner. And then we play a whole bunch of other games, whatever. So already the regular season doesn't matter. But also, you guys jack off to college basketball's tournament when the regular season literally doesn't matter.
I mean, it's true. Here's what's crazy about March
It's because
Madness.
college sports fans stand for fucking nothing. Except hating pro athletes, which we can get into what's behind when you see athletes make a bunch of money, why it upsets you.
All it takes is a run.
Racism, by the way, that's what's behind that.
Well, I'm not going there. All it takes is a run. I mean, I'm serious though. Like I'm saying in March Madness, and I know you could make the argument, oh, it's the same for other sports, but it's just not the same. It's just all it takes is, and by the way, we're both saying we like this. I like this. March Madness is great, but the regular season is just UConn is right playing.
I wouldn't even go so far as to say I like it, but it's I participate in it. I have participated in it. I understand it. It's certainly more fun than whatever else it would be.
But again, it does pose the point. Why is college football not doing the same exact thing? My girlfriend is the prime example of this. The whole time, I can't wait to fill up my bracket. She goes, "Are we going to watch the Selection Sunday show?" And I'm like, "You know nothing about these teams."
Yeah.
And to be fair to her, I don't know most about these teams. Dude, she wanted to watch it with me. And all she cared about was filling out her bracket. Because that's what you do. You fill out your bracket and then you can go see who wins, who loses, how you're doing, compare yourself to your family, your friends, whatever. But college football is no.
And what's amazing, but this is everything that's wrong with college sports, and Barkley again shit on college basketball last night on 60 Minutes with the NIL deals and how it's going to be 10, 12, 20 teams that are dominating because they're going to have the ones that spend money and all that. It's just college sports. And you can say it's not racism, but I would give me the explanation otherwise. Why are old heads and conservatives college basketball fans and not NBA fans?
But I don't know
why
if
are
that's
they
necessarily
college
true.
Football fans and not NFL fans. Why did we always hear about like these rich, spoiled athletes with all their money and they're still complaining? Oh, it's so tough to live in America when you're making $1 billion a year. Like people with that work their whole life to be athletes and make money then are not allowed to complain?
I think it's more based on where you live, right? Geographically. So there are college towns, there are college states, there are, let's be honest, football where you're from, like the East Coast, nobody gives a shit about college football, right?
Yeah, but we're getting a little bit closer to you're circling the truth here, Andy.
But
rural areas, are you saying?
What I'm saying is, I
care
think
more about college sports than metropolitan cities that have professional sports teams?
I think, yeah, obviously a lot of it depends on location. That's not quote unquote racism. Like, I don't know how you're voting. There's a lot of blue collar people who vote traditionally Democrats who are, in some sort of local plumbers union or contractor, whatever. They might be diehard college fans. I don't really care who you vote for. My point is, it's more based geographically on what people like. And people don't want to give it up for some reason. It's just like, it is like politics in that regard. You're picking a side. Hey, I have to like NBA or I have to like college, where it's like, dude, it's all sports. Who cares?
But again, you can look at this stuff. And I think the NBA versus college basketball is a great example. The NBA, they don't play defense. Meanwhile, you're going out and watching Oklahoma, Texas football. That's 61-60. Like, what is this? They're so lazy. They don't play defense. It's like there's never a consistency with the arguments because it's really not about that. It's just about not wanting to say what they don't like about it. And to me, it's like people who like college basketball don't just want to watch all black players play. That's my opinion.
But see, that's a wild take to me.
It's a wild take.
Especially with the NBA, I would argue the NBA with there's so many good players that are white now. Like there's a lot of good white guys. There's a lot of good white NBA players.
And they are, come on, Andy.
They're what?
Foreigners?
But why does that matter?
Oh, you don't know about xenophobic racists?
But like, again, I think you're looking for something here.
I'm not looking for something. I truly believe that if you look at people, go on, just do it today. Just do it today. Put on Dirty Sports. The NBA is greater than college basketball. I don't care about your opinion. And then look at the profiles of the people who come at you and be like, the woke NBA, the flopping, the traveling, the no defense. Take it down the wormhole of following them to their profile picture of them in wraparound sunglasses sitting in the front seat of their car. It's the same thing. It's the same people who will tell you, I just like college football because it's better and grittier and it's whatever. It's like they don't fucking play any defense in college football. Like, I truly believe that the divide between college basketball and the NBA is racists. I truly believe that.
But again, it's not like the majority of college basketball or college football aren't young black athletes. They're both young black athletes.
No doubt about it. They don't like it when the money, oh, you're a millionaire, billionaire, millionaires complaining about billionaires. Oh, LeBron, how much money do you need where you're still going to complain about America? Oh, poor Colin Kaepernick, abused by this country. Didn't you get $20 million, bro?
But again, I think for my point of view, well, one, I don't really care. Like, I don't follow that stuff. I don't care enough. Like, if you want to like college,
my thing is like, I'm fine. Like, I don't even care about if you have hate in your heart for people. Just own it. Just own it.
But Joe, I'll be honest. I think the difference between us on this stuff, I just don't think there's as much quote unquote racism like as an underlying thing.
So when somebody says college basketball, they play harder. It's grittier. They try. You think they actually watch it and see that? They actually think basketball is better. You think their brain tells them this is better quality than the NBA?
I think a lot of people think that, and I don't think race is the main factor, in my opinion. I think
Do you think anybody watches college baseball and thinks that they're better than major leaguers? Do you think anybody watches college golf and thinks that they're better than guys on the PGA Tour? Do you think anybody watches college track and field and thinks that they're faster than Usain Bolt?
But again, I think it's that's why I was saying geographically. It's like you're brought up. Like I'm a prime example. I grew up in a town that never had an NBA team, right? So it's a big college basketball town. Now, was I a Bulls fan growing up? Yeah. Was I a Jordan guy? Yeah. But also the TV deals weren't the same as they are nowadays, right? Like you had your Saturday and Sunday NBC games. Remember? Like TNT, I mean, for all it's done, probably didn't come around till early mid-90s.
Yeah, but
But my point is,
you're also a great example of a guy who watches it. It goes like straight up is college basketball better quality basketball than the NBA?
No, obviously.
Of course not.
But my point is,
so what is wrong with somebody who thinks it is?
But my point is, I was always more into. I probably cared a lot more about college.
That's totally fine.
But I still watch the NBA.
Man, I'm from this kind of area, and I like this, and my dad's a Xavier fan, and we didn't have an NBA team. I get all that. Listen, I totally get it. I totally get being an Alabama football fan bigger than anything else because there's no Tuscaloosa Titans that play in the NFL. But if you sit there and you tell me I'm watching, this is better basketball, you're lying. And my question is, why?
I don't know if a lot of people, I when you say better basketball, I think there's a lot of ignorant definitions of good basketball, right? Like I would argue that same person who's like, this is better basketball, if I did a diagram, are all Jordan people. I hate to keep bringing him up, but like, I feel like that diagram of like, hey, this is better basketball is that same person who without a doubt is saying Michael Jordan's the GOAT. Agreed? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because Republicans buy sneakers too.
I mean, he made like what does that have to do with it?
I think people who will stand on a soapbox and tell you college basketball is better hate LeBron James, hate the modern NBA athlete who has an opinion in a players' league, who make billions and billions of dollars and still complain about things, as of course they should. In my opinion, I don't think having a bunch of money should remove you from having an opinion. I think Mark Cuban should have an opinion. I think Elon Musk should have an opinion. I think Joe Rogan should have an opinion. You should all be able to have an opinion. I don't believe that because you make a lot of money, you should then be bowing down to the country that gave you the opportunity to make that money. I think that's horrific. That's a horrific take. But I think if you talk to people who will literally say, it's better, I like this game better, I think they're triggered by the modern black athlete.
Well, they could be. I also think a lot are very ignorant when it comes to actually watching and understanding the NBA game.
I think you should. I think. Can you do this for me today? And we should let this go. But I want you to do this honestly for me. Find any version of it. Find any version of the De'Aaron Fox clip on Twitter. And just fucking play in the comments. Just look at the people who are commenting. You could do it after the show. Just look at the type of folks who want to attack his statement, which I think is honest and true.
Yeah, I agree with the statement, and he was just giving his opinion when asked it, and I liked it. And I liked how he literally said when somebody called him out for shooting 24%, he owned it. He said, that proves my point. I couldn't shoot in college. I shot 24% from three-point range. I think it could be a mixture of all these things. I think people don't understand good basketball for some reason. And I think that's a through line with college and it's in the NBA, again, because for some reason, basketball seems to be the only sport where we always go back. We always go back. We never want to go forward. We always go back with basketball, right? Nobody ever wants to say, hey, Johnny Unitas versus Patrick Mahomes. Like we only do that with basketball, which is a whole marketing thing, and obviously the Jordan stuff, and we've discussed it at length. I think people don't understand the game. Like my nephew, who I said is a Jordan guy, he lives in a college town, right? My brother doesn't give a shit about it though. They took him and my niece to a Pacers game. Guess who only cares about the NBA now? Right? My nephew.
Yeah.
He's never been to a Xavier game. He's never been to a Cincinnati game. He's been to one Pacers game. All he cares about is all he wants to watch are YouTube videos of Steph Curry. And, and I didn't even know he knew all this. Oh, did you see Anthony Davis last night? I was watching the highlights. It's like, because he was introduced to the NBA at a young age, right?
Yeah. Now, don't let anybody poison his mind between now and when he turns 25 with all the 3-point shooting. No one runs a fucking high post travel bank shot layup anymore. No one makes an elbow free throw like they used to. Be like, dude, they're shooting from 30 feet. It's amazing. John Morant just jumped over another human being. He's not doing like a Drew Timme version of the cha-cha. Looks like he's at a Mayfair dance. Cha-chaing through the lane. Doing the whitest salsa of all time.
I think that's a video.
The old jazz box step.
By the way, I got a video for you.
Fucking square dancing his way to a left-handed layup from the block.
You go to college towns and you do man on the street, you discuss NBA versus college.
Yeah.
Like on the spot. You go to Lawrence, Kansas. Pick some of these college towns that have good programs and you say, what game's better? Why?
Yeah. It'll take me 3 minutes before they're yelling at me about China. Oh, yeah, you like LeBron James is woke China and the NBA. You're like, okay, bro, I gotta go.
But again, to me, a lot of it goes back to like, Twitter isn't real. You know? Like those are amplified voices for sure. But I don't know. Man on the street, Joe Prano. College basketball versus NBA. You got to get out of California to do that, though.
Yeah. Well, I could go talk to Shibeli about it. He loves college basketball.
Shaboring. So
big,
the Mavs.
Big college basketball guy.
Can we talk NBA, though, now? So the Mavs.
Former Duke star, Kyrie Irving.
Former Duke star, Kyrie Irving.
For all those... Kyrie Irving played in college. He played 4 games at Duke.
The Mavs are now 6-9 in games Kyrie has played, 3-8 in games where Kyrie and Luka have played together. So it's not working out.
I gotta say first of all, duh. Right? I mean, I hate to just, pun intended, dunk on Mark Cuban here, but I truly thought he was smarter than this. Like, the science is there. The control groups are there. how many versions of Kyrie Irving ruins team did you need to see before you were like, maybe this isn't the best call?
I mean,
not to mention the basketball.
Everybody saw it.
Not to mention the basketballness of it too. You have Luka, who's a ball dominant guy. And maybe if your team has a problem, it's that you have a super talent who's too ball dominant. You had, by the way, thank Christ, but you had Jalen Brunson last year. You're I got to imagine that college basketball fans are jacking off at Jalen Brunson's success, but you're typical, you're classic, you couldn't have a more perfect college basketball crafty guy. And then you had him with your ball dominant guy, and then you let him go and you get a different ball dominant point guard that also has crazy polarizing views and fucking tears locker rooms down.
Yeah, to me, when it comes to basketball, and that's all that really ultimately matters when it comes to Kyrie, for me, it just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked without LeBron in Cleveland.
Because it was Kobe before Shaq left, which it was. Yeah. There's no team on earth with a prime LeBron James or a prime Shaquille O'Neal where there's an alpha dog question. Remember the 2011 Bosh, Wade, LeBron, and everybody's like, is there going to be an alpha issue? And Dwayne was like, dude, it's what the fuck are we talking about here? He's like, yeah, I'm a Hall of Fame basketball player. This is LeBron's team. What the fuck are we talking about here? Kyrie knew, even his insane ego, that he's not LeBron James. But like Kobe, he wanted to prove he could. So he's like one way or the other. Kobe obviously got Shaq run out of town, whereas Kyrie left LeBron James, right? And we saw what happened to Kobe in the years after Shaq before he realized, oh, I actually do need help, right? And what has happened to Kyrie? He wanted to be the man in Boston. Now Jason Tatum is far more the man than Kyrie Irving ever was in Boston. And then you go, I'll team up with Durant because everybody's been talking about us both as these guys with help, but maybe together we can. And then they brought in Harden, and Harden was like, well, this is just too much for me. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. This is insane. Kevin Durant's in a tweeting frenzy with Charles. He's yelling at Charles Barkley through burner accounts. Kyrie's he's like, fuck that. I'm out of here. And now you have Kyrie that you go to another team with a clear alpha in Luka. But let's just go from straight basketball. I like Dame Lillard. I think Dame Lillard's great. Amazing player. Rotting away in Portland because they don't know how to surround him. On paper, if you put Dame Lillard and Luka together, you'd be like, oh, shit. And it's like, no, it's still two ball-dominant guys. Steph Curry is not a ball-dominant guard. So you could add Kevin Durant to that team, and Steph Curry still can run off picks.
Yeah, the
Draymond Green can still bring the ball up for that team.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Michael and Scottie and all that stuff. It's like the reason they were a perfect match is because Scottie Pippen did everything well. He didn't need to score. The year they finally beat the Pistons, Scottie Pippen averaged 8 points a game. Yeah. And he also fucking ran in transition and rebound and was the best wing defender and was a great finisher and does all the things. It's all about complementary basketball. It's honestly, I've never really seen, like, I like Cuban and I watch Shark Tank. I do all the things. Like, I respect the guy. I can't believe anybody convinced him just on a basketball level
I
that
know
this was a good idea.
I agree. I was just going to say that. I just can't believe I'm a big fan of his too. And I followed him pretty closely, his career and business, non-business, whatever it is. I'm a fan of Mark Cuban. I can't believe after seeing Kyrie fail without LeBron, fail in Boston, fail for the Nets, I just can't believe it was almost like he just said he got his paycheck and he went to the casino and he said, fuck it, red. And he just put his money down. You're like, dude, this is a huge risk. And obviously it's not working out.
And the potential for a Mavs team that makes them dangerous to a team that they might play in a playoffs should they make it. A team that they might play in a one-game series, in a one-game play-in, or even a team that they might play in a first round is, you never know. Luka could drop 50 in an NBA playoff game on any given night. And guess what? So could Kyrie. And it makes you dangerous that on any given night, you have two guys that are so talented that they could single-handedly, personally take over a game. But that's not a long-term strategy towards championship success. Well, I hope for 4 rounds of the NBA playoffs, at least 4 times in each round, one of our two guys just fucking loses his mind. Or somehow they find a way to do it together. Like, what's amazing about this Mavs situation is it's a team built completely opposite to the way their one championship team was built.
Yeah.
Where they went out and got all of these role players who did all of the things that Dirk didn't do. Dirk was a scorer. They went out, they surrounded him with shooters, wing defenders, a defensive player of the year, a floor general. They built, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want to do a documentary on the 2011 Mavs. The single most underrated team maybe in the history of the NBA, in my opinion. And then they were like, well, now what if we just get another Dirk and then like fuck the rest of the roster? That would be the equivalent of doing that. And
let's not forget, they made the Western Conference Finals last year. And obviously, a lot's happened this year. I guess Luka's going through a lot of personal stuff, which he's not fully disclosing. So there's some stuff off the court. But they made the finals, man, the Western Conference Finals. They might not make
And Kyrie's going through a lot of stuff off the court. I don't know if you heard, but Kanye West watched 21 Jump Street and now likes Jews again. So Kyrie's spinning. He doesn't know.
I did see that.
That's one of the greatest. I mean, as far as Instagram posts, it's just out of nowhere. Just a straight up nuke out of nowhere. Just gone. Like,
dude.
He was MIA. He came back with a Jonah Hill and 21 Jump Street has cured me of anti-Semitism.
I want to know Jonah Hill's take on that.
If Kyrie posts an Amazon link to 21 Jump Street 2 today, I'll lose my mind.
By the way, pretty good movie for the record.
21 Jump Street?
I liked it.
Great.
I mean, it's not the best movie, but I'm telling you,
it's like, really good. It's really funny.
I think it was pretty well done.
Yeah.
I wonder what Jonah Hill's thinking though. Little guy, by the way.
Jonah Hill?
Little guy. He was at the Hollywood Improv, like when I first moved to LA. he was hanging at the bar. So this was like 2007. And I just remember thinking, God, they say actors are small. You know, like you hear it and then you move to LA and then suddenly you see actors all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, he's like 5'5". Like I was towering over Jonah Hill. And I'm a small guy. I did watch his latest movie with Eddie Murphy.
How was that?
I
saw a lot. I saw a lot of people saying, like in the comments of that Kanye post, like, don't let him see like you people.
Yeah, I watched it with my girlfriend. I just thought, I don't know. I thought it was like, oh, the
do you know the conspiracy theory with that one?
What's that?
That they CGI'd their kiss at the end?
I saw that. I did see that. Why would they do that? Well, so the premise is like he's like, so Eddie Murphy's like a Nation of Islam, you know, Muslim, and then the Jewish family. It's like, to me, it's just like a corny, oh my God, when the guy who doesn't, you know, like Jewish people, then his daughter dates a Jewish guy. What's going to happen next? I just felt it was like, I don't know. Let me put it this way. I would not recommend watching it. Like if
I'm safe, Andy.
Like if you want to kill time, I guess.
Like both those guys, but I'll just say this. I watched the trailer. I got it.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
You're a newly, since we're doing now streaming reviews, since we've entered the streaming review portion of the show, you are a somewhat new Succession guy. Did you already watch?
No.
Oh man.
So I was actually I was painting this wall last night. As you see, I got a brand spanking new background for people who.
And
are
how
watching.
much did it cost for you to fly Jesus there to do that for you?
Great call out, dude. He got lit when he painted my apartment. I've learned a few things. You know, I basically painted my whole house, but I was up late. I went and got all these different colors. I was watching all these YouTube videos and like the best color scheme. And ultimately I used something that I painted in the bathroom upstairs. But yeah, it's like a blue. It's technically called poppy seed. So I was painting last night. I didn't watch. And I'm excited though.
POPPY, not PAPI, right? Because that would have been offensive to ask Jesus to use poppy seed. Yo, I got poppy seed.
Yeah, we did a little poppy seed. And Succession though, I got my brothers into it too. So my one brother was texting me about it last night, and I was like, dude, I haven't watched. I was like, do not say anything. He's like, oh, I'm watching Succession. Like probably as it was airing. I was like, I'm not watching it yet. Hopefully I can get to that soon. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. It's good. Nice hot start to the final season.
It's a great show.
We're really in a good time. Like there was are you a Ted Lasso guy?
I watched the first 2 seasons. I have not watched the next one.
Yeah.
I've got kind of lukewarm on it, to be honest.
Wow. At the end of after season 2?
What happened?
I was lukewarm on it after season 1, honestly, and then season 2.
He quits at the end of season 2, right?
Well, it's the end of season 2 is when you know the assistant, what's his name, Nate. When Nate leaves. Remember Nate goes evil.
That's right.
Nate?
That's
He's
right.
Like, you're a fucking joke. And then literally we all were like, I mean, the happiest, kindest, most positive show of all time left every viewer in the world going like, I'd love to beat Nate to death with a fucking soccer cleat right now.
That's funny. Yeah, I forgot about that. Hey, man, I still got to get through the first season of Yellowstone. What we've learned is like watching stuff together is not easy with a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, speaking of college basketball, puts Isla right to sleep.
Yeah.
not a college basketball fan.
Not enough excitement for her.
Not enough excitement.
Her first words are going to be, "Does anybody score?"
She ironically, and I'm not making this up. She ironically watched the what game was it? What was the doubleheader last week? Mavs. Who were the Mavs playing? Where there was that controversial call. She stayed awake for Mavs Warriors and then Lakers Suns. College basketball.
Yeah.
She was into it. College basketball.
Well, again, Andy, kids aren't born racist. That's the beauty of racism is learned.
I guess there was a commercial CBS yesterday. They were airing during the games. I was out of the room, and it said, I guess they have the Super Bowl this year. It's the commercial was 323 days until the Super Bowl. My girlfriend was like, "Did you write that? Like, that's the most Andy commercial ever." You and their
It was
NFL.
on what, CBS?
Yeah, like they're already promoting.
Yeah.
I was like, that is an Andy Ruther commercial. Which leads me to some NFL talk.
Does
Joe.
that mean we have Romo for the Super Bowl next year?
We do. We do. Let's talk some NFL. Before we do that, I have to share a quick, delicious story. It's a delicious story because it's a delicious meal about Butcher Box, Joe Prano.
I love Butcher Box. I really do.
My girlfriend made a great meal. Great Butcher Box meal. A little pork roast.
Oh, yeah.
It was sitting frozen. I didn't even ask her. It was sitting frozen in the freezer, and basically she got it out. I was like, I'm going to make a great pork roast for you. And it absolutely tasted amazing. And not that she is a bad cook. I'm not saying that. I don't want to throw her under the bus. But I think just the quality meat from Butcher Box is what really made it just taste so
really
good,
made it
Joe.
sing.
It really did. And Butcher Box right now is offering a great deal. They got all the seafood, all the meat, and guess what you can get now? You get free chicken nuggets for a year and 10% off your first box when you sign up today. That's a 22-ounce bag of gluten-free chicken nuggets in every order for a year when you sign up.
Give them to me. Give me my nuggies.
So again, that's a 22-ounce of gluten-free chicken nuggets in every order for a year when you sign up at butcherbox.com/dirty and use promo code dirty. So claim this deal at butcherbox.com/dirty and use promo code dirty. Here it is right here on the screen.
Butcherbox.com/dirty, promo code dirty.
There's a lot of dirty in there.
Extra dirty.
But that food and those chicken nuggets will taste extra clean. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So hop on that. We have a lot of Butcher Box food I got to defrost actually because it's almost grill season. All right.
Oh, yeah. It is grill season. Baseball starts on Thursday. You know, it's grilling time.
That's right. It does start on Thursday.
Does Butcher Box do hot dogs? Let's talk about hot dogs, Butcher Box. Can we do a baseball special?
Hot dogs and baseball. Overrated or underrated?
Hot dogs and baseball? I will say underrated. And this is from me, not a hot dog guy. I'm famously not a hot dog guy. I never eat hot dogs. But it's something so right about hot dogs and baseball. That if it causes a guy like me to show, if a guy like me, not a hot dog guy, shows up to the ballpark and goes, you know what? I want a hot dog. Underrated.
I'm going to have to piggyback that and agree. I'm not a hot dog guy. But when I go to games, all I ever get are hot dogs.
Yeah.
It's
at least properly rated. It's definitely not overrated. Now, you know me, I go to games. I love to do my favorite thing to do, especially in these new ballparks where we're doing the local food item and whatever. Is like I'll have the garlic fries in San Francisco. I'll have the tacos in San Diego. I'll have the sausage and peppers in New York. But I'm getting a hot dog.
Yeah. But I'm gonna add a little side caveat to the overrated, underrated hot dogs.
I know what you're gonna. I feel like I know what you're gonna say already. Dodger dogs overrated. I knew it was coming.
Dodger dogs are overrated
For sure.
All it is an extra long hot dog.
Yeah.
What makes the Dodger dog so
I think
great
it's also
at Dodger Stadium?
I think it's all beef. I think those are also all beef hot dog.
So you and I have both been to a lot of baseball stadiums.
But I've said this before, I think, on the show, and I'll say it again. I will take the shopping cart full of hot coals, bacon wrapped parking lot dog over the Dodger dog a million times out of a million.
Yeah.
Now, if that was somehow available inside the ballpark, I would do that too, because it is. Listen, and I go to Dodger games and I eat the Dodger dog, and it's great. Hot dog and baseball. But stop acting like it's something different.
But that's my point. I was about to say, you and I have both been to a bunch of baseball stadiums. I could not spell out the hot dog I had, let's say, at Comiskey or Wrigley or Cincinnati or Milwaukee versus the Dodger dog.
Right.
There's no difference to me. But you talk to a Dodger fan, the Dodger dogs are so good. Are they?
I think it's just branding.
It's just great alliteration. Dodger dog. Sir, that'll be $32. What? They're not cheap.
I heard this is pre the Dodgers turnaround. So the Dodgers have now been in whatever. But when I first moved to LA, this is pre the Dodgers like being great. And I was coaching at a baseball camp. And I had like young kids, and I heard one of the most epic servings from like a 7-year-old to another 7-year-old. This kid was like losing his mind about Dodger dogs. Dodger dogs are the best. Dodger dogs are the best. And this other kid came up and he goes, I prefer Yankee dogs. And he goes, you know what the difference between Yankee dogs and Dodger dogs are? And the kid's like, what? And he goes, you can get Yankee dogs in October. And he just literally dropped his bat like it was a mic and like walked off. And I was like, oh, Dad. I was like, that was pretty good. I don't know where he learned that one, but that was good.
Is that your son? Is that us telling us you have a son?
No, I mean, obviously I would never. In a death fight between the Yankees and the Dodgers, I'll take the Yankees every day. But I just felt like it was a good burn.
No Chill Jr.
Yeah.
Junior Chill.
Now, obviously, that's the Dodgers have turned their franchise around, but
I don't think that, like, when I moved, I don't think they were ever really shitty, though.
No, but they weren't, they weren't contending. They weren't competing for World Series. I mean,
They weren't?
I mean, they didn't play in a World Series from 88 until the run where they've played in how many now?
I know that, but they were still. I mean, shit, man. I'm saying they were still in the playoffs. A lot of series, like literally, they've made the playoffs every year since 2013.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, though. They weren't making the World Series. Well, you know who's not making the World Series this year?
Who's that?
Cincinnati Reds.
Not for sure. Not.
I have to share because, like you said, at the beginning of the show,
Drew Timme has a better chance of making it into the NBA All-Star game than the Reds do of making it into the World Series. And by the way, that's actually not true. The Reds have a better chance of making it into the World Series.
Everybody shared this tweet to me. Everybody shared the tweet. It says, if you look at the Cincinnati Reds 2023 payroll, you have Joey Votto, $25 million, Will Myers, $6 million, Ken Griffey Jr., $3.6 million. Yes, folks, that is correct. Ken Griffey Jr. is the third highest player on the Reds payroll, although some places I've seen him as the fourth highest, regardless. Regardless.
He's the least paid member of the New York Mets. No, the only person he gets paid more on the New York Mets payroll is Bobby Bonilla, who gets the $1.9 million every July or whatever.
Regardless, Junior hasn't played in the league since 2010. He hasn't played for the Reds since 2007. He's in the Hall of Fame.
He is taking batting practice. Do you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah.
What a sad state of affairs.
Also, what a wild top 3 or top 4 even. 25 million to Votto. Huge. Then 19 million less dollars. You go Will Myers. I've always liked Will Myers. Will Myers, nice little player. Will Myers is the guy that you're going to go out and give $6 million as your second highest paid player. This is the big free agent signing.
Dude, the Reds are so poorly ran. I shared with you last night the Forbes list, because the Forbes does their annual business of baseball. And it's interesting because it doesn't just list the value. The Yankees are number 1, valued at $7.1 billion. No surprise. The Dodgers are second. But what I like is that it shows the revenue the team made last year.
Right.
And also their income. So what did the team earn? And what I was texting you about, which I found interesting, is that the argument that you're a small market and that you can't make money if you pay your players is straight up debunked. Right? So the teams that have small markets who also made money, there's plenty of them. Right? So you have your Rays, who made $9.5 million last year, right? You have the Brewers, they made $23 million last year. You have the Guardians, $40 million. The Cardinals, $43 million. All those teams made money being a smaller market while paying for a decent salary. Not all of them, like the Rays don't have a big salary. But here's what I found fascinating for a team like the Reds. Not only did the Reds suck last year and lose 100 games, the Reds were one of 10 teams that actually lost money last year. So
and lost money not attempting to win.
That's what I'm saying. Whereas like the Pirates last year made $55 million.
Right. And I mean, did the Mets lose the most money last year?
By far.
Yeah.
The Mets lost $138 million last year.
Literally spent $138 million trying to win.
The next 2 teams in line, as far as their operating income, negative $53 million are the White Sox and the Padres. So the Mets more than doubled.
So, but just think about like 4 classes of teams that make money while trying to win, teams that make money while not really trying to win, teams that lose money while trying to win, like the Mets, and then the worst scenario that you could possibly, not trying to win for cost-cutting reasons and still losing money. Like the Reds didn't lose money like the Mets did because they paid a whole bunch of players and are trying to build something that will end up paying them off in the long run, and built a new scoreboard and have a promo night every fucking night of this season. And like Steve Cohen is playing the short game and the long game simultaneously. The Reds are not playing a game. The Reds
it's amazing.
Have a monopoly board and the pieces for checkers. And they're like, how does this work? And they're like, bro, you don't even have the right components to play a board game here.
It's truly amazing. When you, like you said, you put it best. You look at that list and you're like, okay, the Pirates obviously don't care about winning. They look at that year, they go, we made $55 million. We don't care. The Reds, and I'd have to break down how everybody performed, but the Reds and the Marlins might be the only ones on that list. The Marlins lost, it's $500,000 though. Like they're basically breaking even. They suck. They're also not making money. The Reds lost $9 million, which, by the way, I love, to be honest. I want them to lose money every year until they're sold. You like you said it best last year. You're like, if you're a Reds fan, what you can do is not go to games. I'm not going to any games last year.
Right.
I'm not paying for anything. I just don't care. Like, they need to lose money every year, and maybe they will sell the team. But it does go to show also the problem we have, like we say time and time again, with the salary floor and the salary cap. It's like Steve Cohen's like, I'm just going to pay whatever. I don't care if I lose money. I want to win.
Yeah.
And then the Pirates are like, we're going to pay nothing and make money.
And listen, the Steve Cohen model, I'm a Steve Cohen stan, for what he's doing to my franchise across the board in everything. But Steve Cohen is not losing money because he wants to win a championship in New York. He is that. I mean, that on the surface, that's what he's doing, but he is also playing a very long game. The Yankees are worth $7 billion, and the Mets are worth $3 billion, and they play in the same city. And the Mets have a nicer stadium with more parking. Why? What's the answer?
What do you mean?
Because the Yankees have a history of winning.
Oh, yeah.
They have a winning brand.
Sure.
They have fans all over the country because they win.
The world.
Yeah. So Steve Cohen's strategy is, if you can't beat them, join them, spend all the money. Steve Cohen's model is literally taking the Steinbrenner model that they have abandoned since George died and doing it on steroids.
Yeah.
Because he's like, who gives a fuck if I lose $100 million this year and $100 million next year and $100 million for the next 10 years? If 10 years from now, my team is worth $2 billion more on paper, then I actually made $1 billion while losing $1 billion.
For sure. Well, and here's the thing. And that shows, that's why I like this list, is that when it breaks down all the numbers, because it also shows the 1 year evaluation percentage change. Now, again, these are hypothetical as far as the evaluations. The other numbers are legit. They're just speculating the Yankees are worth $7.1 billion.
Right.
I'd argue probably more.
Yeah. Everything is worth, like, you haven't watched the latest episode of Succession, but it's worth what somebody will pay for it.
Exactly. But guess what the Reds, to bring it back to them, the Reds did not go up. The Reds are up 0% in evaluation. So they went up 0%. That's not good. While also losing money. And again, the argument needs to be made.
I would say also while losing money and hurting their brand.
100%. Whereas again, I want you can't compare the Reds to the Mets or the Yankees, but I can compare the Reds to the Brewers. In fact, Cincinnati has more people than Milwaukee. The Brewers made $23 million.
You can compare them to St. Louis.
Yeah. Their team went up 20. What did it go up? The evaluation of the Brewers went up 9% and they made $23 million. Like, that's a fair comparison. So it's crazy, Joe. So teams that actually try to win get butts in seat, which equals revenue. I don't know what they're doing here. They're somehow losing money while also not getting people into the stands. Where are you going to go?
Andy, baseball starts Thursday. I'm going to throw this out there, and you can veto it live on air if you'd like, but Dirty Sports, Dirty Slides, double Andy baseball preview Thursday?
Oh, man, a full baseball preview with me. Oh, boy. That's a tough ask, Joe Prano.
Well, you'll essentially be you'll be the woman on every ESPN show, and he'll be Stephen A. And I'll be
Can I be Joy Taylor?
You're going to come out here and tell me you're going to play in color TV? You going to tell me this baseball season is going to be epic? With color photography? Sepia tone. That's my baseball. I like it when it looks like the guy's running in slow motion. Because it's being the camera doesn't go fast enough.
Mad Dog is a hit for the record. People love some
He's
Mad
such an
Dog.
absolute fucking dickbag that anybody dunking on him, people fucking love.
Yeah. I know.
Just an absolute windbag. Did you see, by the way, he apparently got so much feedback that he literally put on his Twitter. He's like, for all the people that want me canceled over my baseball takes.
I didn't see it.
It's like, I love that the world woke up one day and they were like, get this absolute dipshit off the air.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, I knew he was on air. What? Now I'm on his Twitter.
The game has passed me by.
What did he tweet? When did he tweet it?
I mean, this is like, when was our last episode? Last Thursday? So it's probably Thursday or Friday.
Well, I see him promoting for all of you that wanted to put me on the pasture. Download the latest.
Literally,
Mad
the
Dogs.
whole world was like, shoot him into the sun. It's over. He did a whole episode talking about how his takes aren't trash. Imagine having such dog shit takes that you have to put out an episode of your podcast about how your dog shit takes aren't dog shit takes.
He did 10 minutes. I'm reading another tweet. He did 10 minutes defending himself. And if you, this is great. If you go on SiriusXM that day, what would pop up on the screen, Mad Dog Unleashed, and they have the number. Doggy defends
by the way, I
himself.
love the idea of Mad Dog Unleashed. Just the picture it paints of a 5'6", 80-year-old man unleashed. I don't know, what's he gonna do? Come steal my yogurt if he's not leashed? Leash him up. He's gonna come steal the Werther's Originals out of my pocket and start talking to me about DiMaggio.
He's gonna steal my cranberry juice so he doesn't fucking, you know.
I don't even know who the modern day Marilyn Monroe is, but I know Mike Trout's not having sex with her. Give me another one of this.
Can we hear some of this?
Doggy, by the way, hold on. Doggy defends himself. This is like the preamble for a TikTok where a pit bull just like kills a labradoodle.
I can't believe this is a
Mad
thing.
Dog Unleashed.
This is what you get over at SiriusXM.
I can't avoid some of it as I don't pay attention to Twitter. But the idea that you can't disagree with the recent guy who thinks he knows everything about baseball, the analytical guy who goes with data, the former player who is playing, or the current player who is playing, who wants to chime in, and that if you have a difference of opinion, that you should be taken off the air, taken out back and shot.
Please.
What a joke. This is a pathetic take. That is absolutely absurd. If you have a baseball opinion, and I think it's a bad opinion, I am not going to scream and yell about, you should be taken off the air, your job should be taken. I mean, how about if somebody writes a story in The Athletic and that person, he or she doesn't know her ass or his ass from an elbow?
What? What the fuck is he talking about?
You know what's amazing is he is saying, he's like complaining about the people complaining about him. It's like, dude, we're all saying that your takes are bad. Like, why? Stop talking about the people athletic. And also analytics, guys. No one was talking about analytics when it came to Trout Ohtani. There's literally no analytics necessary. You have a 3-time AL MVP versus his 1-time AL MVP teammate. These are not analytics. You're coming in with your war and your advanced stats like MVPs. Get out of here. What are you, Bill James? Just because these two guys dominate baseball with the eye test, you going to tell me there's some sort of great players? Just because you polled every single Major League Baseball player in the game and asked them who the best was, and they all said Mike Trout, you're going to tell me he's the best?
So he just
because everybody agrees, except me?
He said he didn't, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I just hear that he doesn't care about analytics, so he doesn't care about stats? Like you can what he's trying to do is he's trying to like misdirect it. Like what you're saying is I don't care about stats.
But
he doesn't care about former players. He doesn't care about, he just literally said, hold on, let me just get this done. He said, I don't care what former players, current players, or the stats say.
No. Andy, let's be clear. He said, I don't care what the stats say. I don't care what former players say. I don't care what current players say. I don't care what the internet says. I don't care what fans think. I don't care what you think.
So who you left with, bro?
Him.
Like when we have these discussions about like LeBron and Jordan, a lot of times you and I will say, I don't care what former players think. I'll go to the stats. Like that's our argument. Like you got to pick one of them. Like, dude, what are you don't care what anyone thinks? This guy gets paid to go on air.
It's unbelievable. Also, analytics was not informer play. None of it was part of the argument. He tried to dunk on
the strikeouts.
Two of the best players in baseball who are teammates ending up facing each other with the entire tournament on the line, and pretending it wasn't cool or fun.
But what I loved was he said, I don't care about analytics, when one of his main arguments was Trout striking out.
Right. But listen, Matt Harvey, his career is over, essentially, right?
Yeah.
His career's over. He's essentially out of baseball. His path to some sort of redemption was this World Baseball Classic, right? No doubt about it. Matt Harvey is not a great baseball player today.
Correct.
If the World Baseball Classic had come down to Matt Harvey on the mound for Italy facing Pete Alonso for Team USA, it still would have been epic. Because there's so many layers to it.
Sure.
He literally, I don't know what, to this day, I don't know what he didn't like about it.
I told you.
For his like level for things to be considered fun and epic and interesting now, if it's not more important than Eckersley Gibson for the World Series in '88, he's not interested.
Unbelievable.
I never watched Succession. I also watched The Godfather and The Godfather 2, 3-hour epic movies. Brando, De Niro, Pacino. And you're going to come with Macaulay Culkin's brother? This is what you got for me? The whole world going crazy? Over the other Culkin? He doesn't even put on any shaving cream. He doesn't even do the thing. He doesn't do it. There's not even dry bandits in the movie, let alone wet bandits. Are you kidding me? Not even Macaulay Culkin. The other Culkin. I'll watch My Girl every day. But some show with the other brother. The whole world, the internet, ratings, how good the ratings are. I don't care about ratings. I don't care about Emmys. I don't care about Golden Globes. I don't care about what Twitter thinks. You don't have the best Culkin, I'm not interested. If you don't have De Niro and Pacino and Brando, it ain't epic. It ain't epic to me. And what happened? HBO Max? What happened to just having HBO? I got to have a Max version now. The analytics are out of control.
Never did I think we'd have Mad Dog rating Succession on Dirty Sports.
If you don't got Pesci and Culkin, I don't care.
Oh my God, too funny. So before we wrap this show up, I have to hop in the Lamar Jackson discussion. We got to do it.
Well, you said to me, and I think this is the easiest way to lead it off. So Adam Schefter posted a tweet today following Lamar Jackson's tweet barrage tweet thread. Lamar Jackson essentially said he has asked for a trade from the Ravens. Adam Schefter tweeted that he asked for a trade on March 2nd, which is almost a month ago now.
Correct.
And you said to me, you texted me, you go, Lamar Jackson's going to get traded the second our show ends today. And I was like, no, he's not, dude. He asked for a trade a month ago. No one's interested.
No one's interested.
He's not getting traded out. He's not getting traded this afternoon. No one wants to give up. I'll say it again because I saw it in a Twitter thread that I was in a group chat I was in today. Somebody was like, I'll give up 2 first-rounders for him today. I go, the 2 first-rounders are not even the issue.
It's the money guaranteed.
He wants you first. You have to give up 2 first-rounders to get him into your building to agree to $200 million guaranteed. If the Indianapolis Colts give up 2 first-round picks and then give Lamar Jackson $200 million, it will be the worst quarterback decision they've made since extending Josie Biscoli, except it'll be way more expensive.
Great for the show, though, with all that Matt Ryan, Lamar Jackson discussion. Guys, Joe's right. Every story is saying that. Lamar Jackson is not going to get the money he thinks he deserves. And even since last episode, all this stuff comes out. His buddy acting as his agent. Lamar denies it. Well, the NFL sent out a memo to every single team. He denies that on Twitter. But what I found interesting was a story, and I sent you a quick snippet of it from The Athletic. This story was written 3 days ago, and that's what it says. This story straight up says, let me read verbatim the part which I find real interesting. This goes to, again, his quote-unquote business partner acting as his agent. Whether it happened or not, I don't know. I think something happened. It says, let's also acknowledge what it would likely mean if a business partner of Jackson was making these inquiries. It would mean Jackson's phone isn't exactly buzzing with calls from NFL owners and general managers who want to present him with one of the biggest contracts in league history and the keys to their franchise. That's been the suspicion around the league anyway. There's been a lot of talk of teams like the Colts, Commanders, Falcons that could make a run at Jackson. There's been no evidence that they have. The facts don't lie. Nobody wants him right now at this value. You played your hand wrong, bro. You couldn't have played it worse.
And now he's, if you go back to March 2nd, he's playing it exceptionally wrong. And we're now at a point where the Ravens could potentially be like, fuck this, because you've now requested a trade. No one wants you because of what you said you're out there. So either you end up taking less money or demanding less money and therefore going somewhere else, which then you could have just done with the Ravens, or you have this contentious relationship with the Ravens where you've asked for a trade, but they can't trade you. They would love to, but they can't trade you. So now I'm assuming Cam shows up and you don't want to play for the Ravens. And then all of a sudden, are you sitting out football games because you just overvalue yourself?
I just can't believe this is played out like this. It's astonishing how wrong he played this.
And, you joked before about the Matt Ryan, Lamar Jackson thing and the Colts and all that. And if you go back to that argument on the show, which was, I never said Matt Ryan is better today than Lamar Jackson is, but the point was always stop acting as if Lamar Jackson is head and shoulders beyond where Matt Ryan was, also considering the finances and how many games he plays and all the things. And the point is, to that guy who we once sent spinning in out of control, calling us every episode thing, is the Colts went out and got Matt Ryan. The Colts went out and got Phillip Rivers. The Colts extended Josie Brishkoli. The Colts, he's there right now. The dude who was begging for the Colts to get Lamar Jackson, you can have him, bro. He's yours for the taking. This guy, remember the kid last year? You give me Lamar Jackson, you can have him. Call him up, give him their 2 first-round picks, and give him $200 million, and he's yours. The team that made Jeff Saturday their head coach is like, well, we're not that dumb.
It's 3 weeks ago, man. 3+ weeks ago, he wanted to be traded. And you're right. This might be the point of no return where the Ravens just say, I don't want to deal with you. Dude, you got us 1 playoff win. You've missed the last 5 games, the last 2 seasons. You're not worth our headache. It's amazing that no one brings up, I don't know why, that he won an MVP 4 years ago. Like, nobody brings that up. Nobody ever brings up when he won it. That's something I've eyed closely on Twitter. I find fascinating. MVP. Dude, 4 years ago. You won it 4 seasons ago. What do you think happens? Crystal ball time.
He eventually finds somebody with some sort of brain to advise him, who tells him, don't be, I can't even this is how quickly you fall off. What was the Steelers running? Le'Veon Bell. Don't be Le'Veon Bell, bro. Don't go from being the guy everybody wants to out of the league.
So here's what I want to see, Joe.
I think somebody goes, take the 120 million or whatever, take the 3 years guaranteed and the 2 extra years on top of it. $120 million is generational wealth, bro.
He was offered $130 million.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever it is. I'm saying somebody goes, get your shit together.
I want to see him go to the Colts. You know why? Yeah.
Why?
You know why? This is more of my own ego, and I told you so. The Ravens last year gave up the 3rd fewest points per game. Guess what the Colts did? 28th. Okay, Lamar stands, because I know there's a lot out there. Good luck on the team that gave up the 28th most points per game. I'm just saying, you can't win playoff games with a top 3 defense. How are you going to do with the bottom 5 defense?
I want him to go to the Jets. I want him to go to the Jets because I don't want Aaron Rodgers to go to the Jets, because then I'll lose my Aronofsky bet. Whereas if Lamar goes there, he'll miss 5 games to injury, and then even if they win more than 10 games, he won't have won more than 10 games.
Yeah,
and then Kyle will have to get Ryan Fitzpatrick tattooed on his body.
I think now a lot can happen, especially with the draft.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think there's no other place to go but Baltimore.
Because if you're the Colts, I don't know how everybody feels about all the quarterbacks. Again, I don't care for college sports. I do like the kid from Alabama in the brief, watching I've done. Seems like everybody's really high on the kid from Ohio State. Everybody knows how I feel about Ohio State quarterbacks. I know how everybody feels about the kid from Florida. I've literally seen nothing but highlights. But if you're the Colts, those three guys, people seem to think that they're all three of them could be good in the NFL. You could take one of them for free. For you could pay one of those guys what the Reds are paying Ken Griffey Jr. this year.
Yeah. Why are you going to give out 150 million plus? What a mess. What a shit show. There's no one in Lamar's life to get him under control. No one. There's no one to pull him aside. There's not a friend. There's not a family member. There's not a former coach. There's no one to just get him on the phone and say, dude, what are you doing? Just take your lumps. Take, like you said, generational wealth, man.
Is there a chance that his, like, what do they keep saying in The Athletic? Like it's his like lawyer or something like that?
No, it's his business partner.
His business partner.
But he's denying that.
Is there any chance that Lamar Jackson's business partner is also the guy who told Michael Jordan it was a great idea to draft Cody Zeller?
Maybe.
And Charles Barkley's like, come on, man. Get somebody around you that'll tell you no, man. Come on. It's terrible.
God. I've never been more fascinated with a contract thing because I just, you know, like when we were growing up,
Crazy
Joe,
how quickly it changed though, because
it changed so quickly.
Essentially, we have a bunch of the quarterback situation in the league right now is a bunch of teams looking at how other teams have hampered themselves with terrible quarterback deals. And now everybody's playing this game of chicken with their quarterback. Like, I mean, even my team, I said, there's a tweet out there and I'll stand by it until I'm proven wrong. And I hope that I am, that I kill myself if Daniel Jones' cap hit is $40 million, you know, and they went there. But there's teams out there that everybody's just looking around and being like, well, Sean Watson didn't really work out. Kyler Murray didn't really work out. Even Aaron Rodgers, who's probably the greatest quarterback talent we've ever seen on planet Earth, short of Patrick Mahomes, is now being chopped by his team. I have seen multiple mock drafts of like Will Levis to the Vikings to finally move on from Kirk Cousins. Like, it's crazy because we're just a couple years removed from like every quarterback gets the deal. And now we're at a point where like every quarterback got the deal and it didn't work out for a lot of them. So now teams are like, fuck.
Yeah.
We saw the running back.
I was going to say on a smaller scale, we saw it.
We saw the running back boom and fail. You know, Christian McCaffrey's moved on. Todd Gurley's out of football. Le'Veon Bell's out of football.
Zeke. Yeah.
Zeke is cut by the Cowboys. We've seen it. And we came back down to earth from it. And it almost feels like the quarterback boom financially happened and fall down. Now I think teams know how important it is to have a franchise quarterback, but it's a dangerous game. I mean, you look at teams like the Seahawks with Russ, you know, at what cost? The Eagles are very clearly planning for a Jalen Hurts extension. Their defense, it was like a house that got robbed. People just left with all the valuable things from inside.
Yeah. I know. We are watching it in real time. The changing. I never thought it would happen. I never thought teams would finally say, why are we paying you all this money? We can't put a good team on the field then. We can't make a Super Bowl contending team. They're finally doing it. And Lamar.
And then we get into a situation where Lamar is stupidly not even going with like, if you look at the Patrick Mahomes and his cap hit, and even the Daniel Jones and his cap hit, and Tom Brady and his cap hit, the way they're all, but when you say, I want the money guaranteed today, that makes your cap hit that immediately. And then you could restructure it down, but he's going, no. I'm not playing this fucking game, or I'll take the money and prove myself and get paid more. It's like, no, I literally want you to write me a check for $200 million.
Yeah. I know. Well, I'm sure it'll play out. Something's got to give. I just don't think he's going to have options. You know, it's 3 weeks. Again, things can change. I just think somebody would have come along, man. Somebody would have come along. If you're that good, you tell me the most important position on the field in football. If you're that good, why does no one want you? Plain and simple. At that value.
It's
Basically,
very simple.
Yeah, it's really simple.
It's a three-prong problem, and it's weirdly the combo, it's a weird combo where it's like you play in a way where you can't stay on the field, but that way of play gives you your value, but that way of play makes it scary to make that value guaranteed.
100%. I'm not going to do calls today. It was a longer episode, but give us a ring. We'll do some calls next episode. 310-359-8365. That is the hotline. We are on all social media at The Dirty Sports.
Shout out to all the folks who came out to the show in San Luis Obispo this weekend. My next gigs, like I said, sort of late notice, but for all of you Vegas area dirtballs, just a couple weeks, 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today? Yeah, that's right. 2 weeks from today, a week-long run in Vegas starts April 10th through the 16th. Comedy Cellar at the Rio in Vegas. 2 shows every night there. So come out to those shows. I literally just bought my Southwest airline tickets to Las Vegas. Bags fly free. You know what that means. I'm getting my golf clubs on the plane. If you want to play golf with me in Vegas, hit me up. We did that a couple times. My last few trips, I've played a couple rounds of golf with some dirt balls. Hit me up. Let's play some golf while I'm in Vegas for a week. Hopefully the weather's good. Maybe we can go watch some sports in the Circa pool or something like that. But definitely come out to some shows. The week after that, Bay Area. All the shows are on my website, joeprano.com/show, but I will be at the Throckmorton Theater, the famous and historic Throckmorton Theater, on April 18th. That's in San Rafael, Marin County, outside of San Francisco. And then I'll be doing shows in San Francisco, some of the fun city shows in and around SF, and more shows on my website. But those are the ones that are coming soon. So come out.
Cool.
And follow me on Instagram at Joe Prano and all of social media, and I'll post more about my shows there.
Awesome. All right, guys. That's our show. Always appreciative of the support. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great start to your week. And as always, stay dirty.